Our brains are truly amazing. Are not they? Have you ever watched one of those specials on someone who experienced an amazing, unexpected recovery after a traumatic brain injury, stroke, or other brain damage? Some of those stories seem like the only explanation is magic. Although it certainly seems inexplicable, scientists have been hard at work studying exactly these cases over the last several decades and have found the explanation behind the magic: neuroplasticity. It refers to the physiological changes in the brain that happen as the result of our interactions with our environment. From the time the brain begins to develop in utero until the day we die, the connections among the cells in our brains reorganize in response to our changing needs. This dynamic process allows us to learn from and adapt to different experiences. Our brains are truly extraordinary. Unlike computers, which are built to certain specifications and receive software updates periodically, our brains can actually receive hardware updates in addition to software updates. Different pathways form and fall dormant, are created and are discarded according to our experiences. When we learn something new, we create new connections between our neurons. We rewire our brains to adapt to new circumstances. This happens on a daily basis, but it's also something that we can encourage and stimulate. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to look at the theory and principles underpinning neuroplasticity. First, we should note that, although we have a fairly succinct definition of neuroplasticity above, the reality is a bit less well defined. The first perspective lends itself to a single theory of neuroplasticity with some basic principles. And that research on the subject would contribute to a single, all-inclusive framework of neuroplasticity. The second perspective would require numerous different frameworks and systems to understand each phenomenon. Unfortunately, there is still no unifying theory of neuroplasticity that I can lay out in simple terms here. All I can say with certainty is that this is still a young field, and new findings are popping up every day. There are two main types of neuroplasticity. Structural neuroplasticity, in which the strength of the connections between neurons changes. And functional neuroplasticity, which describes the permanent changes in synapses due to learning and development. Both types have exciting potential. But structural neuroplasticity is probably the one that is more attended to at the moment. We already know that some functions can be rerouted, relearned, and re-established in the brain. But changes to the actual structure of the brain are where many of the exciting possibilities lie. 7 benefits neuroplasticity has on the brain. Building on the studies we just mentioned, there are tons of ways that neuroplasticity benefits the brain. In addition to the improvements and advantages outlined above, these are some of the other ways your brain benefits from brain adaptation. These 7 benefits are: 1. Recovery from brain events like strokes. 2. Recovery from traumatic brain injuries. 3. Ability to rewire functions in the brain. Example: if an area that controls one sense is damaged, other areas may be able to pick up the slack. 4. Losing function in one area may enhance functions in other areas. Example: if one sense is lost, the others may become heightened. 5. Enhanced memory abilities. 6. Wide range of enhanced cognitive abilities. And 7. More effective learning.